was this young. I played video games then, still do. And yeah, like coding was a little bit hard back then. Like I think I started like around 10 years ago, and it has gotten like easier ever since.
Thank you. So I will ask you some questions to keep the
Sure.
conversation going. And I know that we have some eager students here who will also have some questions. So I feel like often we have ideas, but we don't know which ones to keep, which ones to let go of. Do you have any advice for our students? Because I know they all have like different ideas, especially as teams. Like, how do you choose which ideas are worth building and which ones to just like let go of?
Um, it depends. Like if you're just like if you're on a project and you just want to learn and like spend time with like team with people, like I would say like just build something that you like that. But if you like work for a company or you're trying like if your like resources are limited, and I would say like find a way that people will pay for your product. That's the best thing. But like if you're like trying to solve a problem, but like I think that's a very like corporate answer, but like still like you're quite young, like just build something that like you like to build, and like you can if you can get other people on board, then that's super exciting. Like just spend time learning about projects that and things you like, and then you will find ways to make money. I would say.
Thank you. Okay.
But there's
Also,
actually like this like thing that you mentioned of like figuring out like what to build and like what to focus on. I think like people in the industry struggle with a lot because like you have limited data and there's bias, and like you effectively like you see the things you want to see in the world, or you're just like ignoring them, and like people are building like wrong stuff. But like on a smaller scale, like just build something small, like use any of the vibe coding tools out there, like ship it, get feedback from people. Like I have done like the opposite. So like I wasted a lot of times and like building something in a cave and then find out no one wants it. That's the saddest thing. But I did learn a lot of about coding. So that's always useful. And now I can copy paste code over. So like never really a loss.
awesome. Thank you. That's just a great answer because I feel like often they're just like have so many ideas and they're just like, we don't know which one to take. So that really does help. I feel like working in teams and collaborating with others is almost unavoidable in our careers and just personal life. So, what is some advice that you can share with the kids about the importance of teamwork and how do you handle those disagreements that often happen within project teams or especially in high pressure situations?
Um, so I would say that like I made that mistake a lot of times. Is like if you have like someone more senior in their team, they usually know better. Like especially like spend a little bit of time like learning about the problem that you're trying to solve and like truly understand that. And sometimes, yeah, like that helps. And another thing that we used as like in engineering teams was like, sorry about my French, but like how much do you like care about the problem and like try to scale that from like 0 to like 10. And sometimes like in engineering like people spend time on like naming variables or like naming is a huge problem, like how do you call things, and people have different ideas about like architecture, and that's actually good, like they care. But sometimes like how much do you care? Like I have worked with like full stack developers who like hate front end, but they don't really care about front end. So that like helps to balance. And working with others, I think ultimately there will be fewer disagreements if you all have the same goals. Like if you're like, let's say in the beginning, you set up a metric that, I don't know, we want to get 100 people on board on the project. And then you have a bunch of tasks out there. One of them is like, let's do a new landing page. The other one is like, do a new feature. Like try to like guesstimate it. And yeah, hopefully like you guys like will work in teams where like people are nice. Obviously, like there are a lot of egos out there and like and politics involved, but like usually people mean well and like just spend more time like learning about the projects and like do the hard stuff, and people will like respect you. And like honestly, like being young doesn't mean that like you're wrong. It's just usually like you just haven't like read enough. Like, but AI like can really help you out there. Like just one or two prompts can give you a as good of as like an overview on a topic that like usually took like years to master. So that's super useful. Yeah, don't be an arrogant person, I would say. I've made that mistakes, and like the mistake like it really backfires like for years and years. Like if your like teacher or friend thinks that like you're hard to work with, they will not work with you. Or maybe it's just my experience.
Yes, thank you. That's so helpful because I know that we have like team leads and we have like different members, and it's so important that they work together and have that respectful space to get each other to speak and make sure everyone's ideas are heard. So that's amazing. Okay, so now I have a question just about AI and technology. With AI changing so fast, how do you figure out which tools or technologies are worth learning first? Because there's so many different languages and things just keep changing.
Um, I actually learned that yesterday. I don't know where that came from, but like ignorance is a bliss. So like just ignore, like master the tools you have. And I always think about like the problems I have in my life, or like how can I like do them faster or do more in my time? Like whether like AI can be very useful. Like for example, like in coding, I'm using all of these vibe coding tools to like help me be better. But I would say like these language models are already like really powerful. So like spending time on actually like learning English is super useful. Like if you tell the model right what to use. Like language wise, I would say like actually there's a question like what kind of languages have you guys like what do you know?
Um, my experience is C, like the Adreno IDE. It's merged with a
Okay,
bit of C++ too, and a bit of HTML and CSS.
nice.
And some of them know Python and HTML and Java. So
I mean like don't learn any other languages. I think like they're like decent like what I meant is like learn something from the front end. Like, oh yeah, do you have a question?
We have one full stack developer who started in 10 years to do those things. So Joshua, do you want to share your experience? How did you learn this full stack development with front end, back end, APIs, everything, right? Very small age because
Yeah.
of interest.
Yeah. So, I know HTML, CS, like all front end and back end, full stacked, and I've been working on APIs,
Nice.
with Google Colab and like AI, and yeah, and I'm the team lead for hydrocoders in this hackathon.
Very cool. I think full stack is the best. But it's sometimes like yeah, like some people like just don't enjoy front end like because historically like it was so hard. Like I remember like getting CSS right was hard, and then you took like I don't know. Have you guys used not Bootstrap? Like it's a very old library from like
I heard of it.
yeah. So like then I used Bootstrap and like I tried to use tools because like I wasn't good at front end. Sorry about the lighting. And then all of like React and like trying to copy paste a lot of stuff over, but in front end like I knew that there were more skillful people. Like you start to think about like design and like if people cannot figure out how to use your product, like that's really bad. And accessibility and speed, like I have a good enough computer, but sometimes I deliberately like slow it down. But like front end, I would say is nowadays easier. For back end, like you really have to understand the problem, what you're trying to solve, and sometimes like yeah, the most common mistake is like you over engineer stuff. But like I even don't know C or C++. I did try that. I did Java though. But yeah, C and C++ only use it when you have to. Otherwise, like the raw performance gain is like not worth it. But I think like for Arduino, like yeah, use that.
One more thing. Is it worth to learn JavaScript like and Java? Just asking. Like, would you get any benefits from it?
Yes. So JavaScript, like okay, like if you have HTML, that's like a static page. Imagine like okay, really bad example, but like if you have a newspaper, like that can be like very static and like you can like read stuff, but like the newspaper in Harry Potter was like so much cooler. And that's why like you need JavaScript, like if you want to like run code on the front end side. But nowadays, like it's all like abstracted away. I don't know entirely how it works, like how the browser runs, and like it's very complex tech. So use like React, because all of these AI tools, like they like allow you to build in React, but they only give you like good enough code. Like it's very good for demos, but like at the end of the day, like all of these small bugs, like they will add up, and like it just creates like frustration. At least like well, sometimes like when the app is super slow, people like they close your tab and go to YouTube or like any other social media platform. But obviously, if you're solving like a decent number of problem, like people will not switch away. But it just creates like frustration, and like you don't want to use the product. And yeah, but for Java, I think if you ever want to work for like a financial institution, like do learn it. And data structures is still by far the best in Java. Like if you ever need to implement maps, or inheritance is a really good like way of thinking about like if you have an animal class and then you have dogs and cats and like inheriting methods, like after like you have your MVP, what if you want to add like second, third, and fifth feature? Like I don't have that skill yet, but like the real skill is like how much code do you have to like refactor and like make changes, and are you breaking stuff? And Java makes it easier like not to break stuff, because in Python and JavaScript, like you can just write anything. Like you're calling functions that don't exist, you're naming variables that don't exist. And like I make a lot of typos. And it's really frustrating to debug stuff at like 10 p.m. But Java just says like, hey Carl, that function doesn't exist. But on the flip side, like if you even don't know that this code is needed, and like for a hackathon, like don't build anything in Java. It takes like, I don't know, 2 hours to set up local development. Like you have already wasted time. Like build it in Python. But yeah, I think like learn anything you can.
So yeah, can you tell your actually what you are doing with AI? Like because I went through your LinkedIn profile, so what I understand is you are trying to, now the new trend is not to make our business profile come up in the Google search, right? Instead of that, how we can integrate that with all the AI tools, wherever the people are searching for something, it can come up. So basically, that's the one you are doing, maybe, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the industry, like it's quite old. It's called SEO, so like search engine optimization. Historically, it means like ranking higher on Google, but doing the exact same thing, but for AI models. And like fundamentally, like there is AI there, but a lot of times, like you because like I have studied computer science, and I remember like training models myself, like before ChatGPT. Like we still and like it's still used like models out there, like how do you do data collection? But nowadays it's mostly like the right prompts, and you have to think about latency. Like I remember I worked on like one app, like one part of the app, and like sometimes it took a second, and then sometimes it took like 15 seconds for the exact same code, exact same input. I couldn't figure out. And like the issue was that sometimes the code literally like routed to New York and the other ones like to India, like for load balancing issues. And that's really bad. So, but what I'm actually like doing with AI is on a bigger scale is the field is called NLP, so like natural language processing. I'm trying to understand on a language level, like what does your site have, like is missing, versus like what does the top sources have. Like on an example, like if you're comparing like let's take like accounting software A to B, and like B has pricing information and you like fundamentally don't because of like the nature of your business model, then how can AI like give like compare you against like your competitor? And that's what I'm bringing out is like, okay, I saw that your competitor has pricing information and you are missing it, so please add it. And that's the real value. But I would say that it's working with these models these days, not building my own models. Like I worked with people who have built like language models, but not LLMs, but like have you guys used the 11 Labs? It's like if you write text, let's say like hello world, and like you can make it sound like a language, like someone is speaking. And
Yeah, I
I
used it
worked on,
before.
sorry?
What is that
I
name?
used it before.
Yeah, like I worked for their competitor, and like there we actually worked on AI, and most of my time was like spent on preparing features for them. So like we got videos in and you have to like transcribe, slice and dice them. And like it's like if you're in a kitchen, like everyone wants to be like the chef, but a lot of times like you have to like prepare the food and like source the ingredients and like what ingredients, make sure that like I don't know, the tomatoes are good quality. I really like this example. I just made that up. But that's, yeah, don't discard that. Like if you have that's the biggest thing in like working with AI is make sure your input is correct and like your instructions are good and like the models are like so smart already. Like, and don't expect a new version to like solve really bad problems that you would in like for example, I explicitly sometimes, because I was vibe coding stuff, told the model that it's 2024. And then I couldn't figure out like why was this happening. And then I like actually read the code and then understood why. Yeah.
Thank you. One more question. Yeah, Krishna, give me 1 second. I'll let you ask. So, now they are integrating some AI models. So basically, they had to teach the machine like to identify the trash and the living things. So, for an example, they are going under the sea. So their robot should not take the living thing out. That will be more problem, right? So that's the thing. So, there are some confusion between kids, like they can use already existing model or they can use some tools available, like, right, the tools
Yeah.
teach, or they can develop their own like AI model kind of. What's your advice?
I would like honestly, I think like I would build my own model, and here's why. It might not be the most accurate one. Like it's not. But like you as a person, like I would say like you learn more when you integrate stuff. And like calling those tools and to get like 99% accuracy, like it's possible, like, but like you as a developer, like your value is more like you'll learn more and like like you feel the frustration and things like that. And sometimes you can even get far like better accuracy. Like if you take a model from Hugging Face that's designed to like, I don't know, identify thousands of classes, but then in your model only has a binary input, like you can get a better result because you can use like a smaller model or like in a higher accuracy or things like that. So I would train with my own model if I have the time. But if I don't have the time, obviously like use the OpenAI API or Hugging Face, whatever you need. But yeah, it's like after a while, like calling them is not too much fun, and like I optimize for fun if I can.
Yeah. Now, guys, you guys go ahead with your questions. Then I will come. I think Joshua and Krishna. Yeah, go ahead, Krishna.
Could I start, Joshua? Yeah, okay. I have a quick question. Which like models are the best? Like, you know how you can borrow models from like OpenAI, Claude AI, like they're then models, right? Like, which one would you like think would? Because I really want to learn about that more, but I want to know like which one is more useful.
Yes, that's actually a very good question. The short answer is it depends. So it depends on like, and I actually read about it like a few days ago, like just refreshed it. So here's the framework. The baseline models are like all are like very, very good, like for most tasks. So what you usually do is like you fix a variable that like you cannot like compromise on. So this can be speed, so like how fast the model is, or you can fix your budget. Like remember the time where OpenAI charged like $80 per million tokens? Maybe like you don't have that kind of money. Like, so you fix one variable, and then what you can do is like have a X and Y chart of like, and you're trying to get the most value out of your models out there. So to answer, and then you use some sites that are like, I think it's called like LLM rank, and then you see what are the rankings out there. Because as far as like, I have never really done like evaluations on models, but I know that they're extremely costly to do them well, like if you want to do them professionally. So I would pick a few models out there that are like very highly ranked. And there's actually a tool out there called Open Router. And Open Router has a functionality, it simplifies things. You can just say like automatic to true, and somehow they figure out based on the input prompts what's the best model for your task, right? If you're talking about like language related tasks. But for other domains, if you have, always use the latest model. And then yeah, for language models, like just see something in Hugging Face, or see what like read what others have done. Like that's not the stuff I would like reinvent on, because there are people with like PhDs and like very, very high salaries who have done the research, and sometimes like they publish it. And yeah, you need a good enough model, but a lot of times like it's not a good question to ask whether like what's the best model. You just have to ask like what's the best model for your task, and that really depends. From a technical point of view, you can also run evals. I think the OpenAI makes it like extremely easy to run it on their models. I don't know fully how to like run it against like every single model out there. And you can use the most modern cutting edge like technique. It's called vibe based. You just pick what you like, and see how it goes. But like yeah, like that's quite a hard problem to like know which one is the best, and people are always testing. But yeah, use the framework that I gave us, like fix what you care about most and then see it on a chart, which makes sense.
Just a follow-up question to this.
Yeah.
Like when did you like use any of these models before? And do you also think you can also, is it easy to integrate them to like the robotics? Like when I say robotics, like you make a robot and you want to integrate it with like example Raspberry Pi, I want to integrate that AI into that. And is it easy to do that? Just asking.
Yes, that's so okay. Your Raspberry Pi has internet access, right?
I don't know that much about Raspberry Pi. I just said because I believe Raspberry Pi is really powerful to
Because
Raspberry Pi 5 is having Wi-Fi internet.
if you have Wi-Fi, like that allows you to have access to like a whole other universe of models. Because on the flip side, sometimes you don't, and you have like memory concerns. So you then like pick the model that's highest, like there's a very high correlation between like model size and accuracy. So if you have access to the internet and like latency isn't a problem, then most of them have APIs like over HTTP. So you just call them, like they have standard documentation and like it's battle tested, the API works. On the flip side, like if you need to run something on your machine, there are only a few ones that like fit on a Raspberry Pi, and probably you can't run things there because it's so small, like memory wise. So HTTP is your only one. And like you have, I don't know how big the memory is, and that's what like, see, like if you have studied like Java and like other of these, like, and you have C++ experience, like you know that sometimes like moving away from like float 64 to like 32 and like even 8 bits, like that's standard what like people do. So you're trading accuracy for speed or memory or like things like that. But like my short answer to your question is like I don't know. So like I'm just another language model, like large language model, like I'm hallucinating all the time.
Now, Joshua, you can go ahead with the question.
So with AI becoming more powerful every day, some people wonder if coding will like be important in the future. From your perspective, do you still think there's like a future for coding, and how young people like me can make sure we stay ahead in a world where AI can write like code too?
I think yeah, yes. Like mostly my background is like I actually like for my bachelor's, like I did economics. So I always think about like try to solve problems for people. Like coding in itself is like fun activity, but like no one shouldn't fire up like a Java term, like a terminal, just to like reverse a binary tree for fun. I think in the future we're still gonna have like we have 8 billion people out there, and like we all need something to do to live. So in reality, I would say like you're not competing against like AI, you're competing against other people with AI. And these models like what I have read is like they're not gonna get that much smarter, like for a variety of reasons. Because like I don't know if you remember, but like if I actually used GPT-2, which was like horrible model, like it was so bad, and then 3.5, like it was decent. And then when we switched to 4, like it was so good. Like I don't know. It's so good. And like nowadays, like whenever like they release the next model, like you don't feel that it's like, oh my God, like I'm talking to an Einstein now. Like it last year, it couldn't even count the number of R's in strawberry. Like the word strawberry, like I think even I can do that. But it's like for coding wise, I think you still like coding is one thing, but like you need to work with other people, like with business owners, like who have different tasks, or like you do sales, or like just talking to people and figuring out like what the problem is. So I wouldn't like discourage stuff, but coding in itself, I would say, is not that valuable as a skill anymore. It's more like your understanding of like a domain or like your interest plus coding. So like that's quite bad thing to say, but like you can teach a physicist how to code, but you can't teach like a coder how to do physics. So like learn the hard domains first, like, or even marine biology. Like I can do like a very nice website, like with animations and GIFs, but like if you give me like 5 different fishes, like I have no idea how to tell the difference between them. And that like really limits my ability to make useful software. So yeah, I sound like a broken record, but like learn biology, or like hard skills, or like things that interest you. Yeah.
Maybe another word I always tell the kids, like think about the logic and the problem solving, more focus on the problem solving than based on one language. Maybe in future, we should compete like what AI cannot think. Like for an example, like when I give a new scenario to the AI, it cannot think because whatever already fed data only it can work on it. So of course, there we need the human interference. And as he said, like to discuss with others and get that one. So still we didn't come to that level of AI to understand the feeling or face gestures. Yeah, they are trying something, but still like, like human involvement is needed. Maybe,
There's
yeah,
another like there's like very few sins in computer science, but like one of them is like you don't train on testing data. And nowadays, like that's becoming a huge problem of like, so the AI models have seen the test data and the evaluation sets, and they're now training on AI generated data. So there's a very real chance that like the performance will actually go down. But hopefully, like you as a human, like your like skills will go up. And like, yeah, AI is gonna make a lot of mistakes. Hopefully. Like at this point, like I honestly like I can understand that like for me as well, like I'm trying to see what's my value add because AI is considerably cheaper compared to me. Like I have my limitations. I need to sleep, I need to eat, and sometimes I just want to browse YouTube. But like AI like doesn't want to do that. But so far, like I think like yeah, don't worry about it too much. I think there are hundreds of millions of other people who worry on a daily basis of like, what if AI is gonna took my job? Like you think about other problems. I would say so.
sure. And I don't take too much of time. I know you are very busy. So like, Joshua, still you have a question or it was, okay, okay. Anyone
no.
else question? Okay, so like, okay, shall I ask you things like, okay, so are you still having the idea to come to Canada for our hackathon?
That's in October, right?
No, it's this month 23rd.
23rd. So that would be next week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit difficult. Like I need to buy the like I'll get back to you. I need to buy the ticket, but like I
Yeah.
have never visited Canada, and
So,
like I'm considering it.
okay.
Uh, but it's yeah, mostly like if I'm gonna say no, it's mostly around like just it's very far from London. But London, UK, not London, Canada.
Mhm.
So
That's okay. That's okay. Take your time. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, like yeah, Rukshika can say the thank you, but one more quick question I wanted to ask you. Okay, okay. Right. The models that the challenge the kids having is like when they are creating their own model, the storage area, one thing, and the processor speed, right? Because the why they try to use existing model. So I told them for this hackathon, don't worry about so many things. If you can prove at least one trash, you can prove it. It's enough because it's not possible for them to go for millions of trash. Like even if you take a water bottle, it can have so many different pictures. Like it can be broken, it can be new, it can be with the mud, right? So what do you think? Is that good for the hackathon purpose? Because they are going to do some POC kind of thing. They are not going to do the full thing, right? So that will be
I would say yeah, like try to get the POC right. Like as an engineer, like you guys are engineers, like you're always gonna say that like it doesn't take a lot of time. Like trust me, guys. Like I have played so much roadblocks, like I know how to do this stuff, but like in reality, it will take way more time. Like there were bugs, and like the AI is so stupid. You just like tell them like ignore, like don't do this crap. Like try to get something out, like I would say. And on running on your machine, I think that will take a lot of time. Like if you can get that done, like just limit the stuff that you're working on, and like maybe ask your like team lead, and like they are the ones who like routes resources and effort. And yeah, like at the end of the day, if you have a something that works, is I would say like nice for the hackathon.
Mhm. Thank you so much. And we don't want to take much time because I know everyone is busy.
Oh, it's super like useful.
But hopefully you enjoy the kids in this age, the teens. But I think the world trend is changing towards teens, right? Because I saw so many places they started to give co-op for the school students. They started to give internship. Even some organizations start to hire the teens. And there are so many
Yeah,
things.
drop out of school and like join a tech company. That's the advice. But no, honestly, I'm not like I'm quite old, but like I would say like your advantage is like you have so many ideas, you have so much energy, and like you require very little like sleep. I think like curiosity, like don't lose that. Like have ideas. That's the thing. Like AI will always be there, hopefully, because I don't remember how to code without Wise. But yeah, the ideas will go away. And like you start to question these. Like I think learning how to code is very useful. Like I wish I had done that at school. I played Minecraft instead. So
No, that's all. I'm more older than you guys, your generation. So, but still, we are surviving anyway. Like we are learning continuously. And other thing is, what's your advice to in teen they do a startup company? Like, what do you think? It's the right
I
thing,
think
or
it's yes and no. And so I think like I should have actually like stayed longer, but like if you can like work for a bigger company, like for a little bit, for a little while, like you will meet people. Like that's super important. And for a startup, like if you're just building with your friends, that's not like really a startup. Like that's a side project. But like I would say, and for me, it's the same. Like my company is still like self-funded. Like I have a little bit of savings, trying to like bootstrap everything. But as soon as you need to raise money, like in the earliest stages, like people are gonna look like who you are as a person. Like because that's the biggest risk is like that you don't have the skills to pull it off. So like maybe and like if you join a startup, like don't start a startup, join one. Like you will build and do so many cool things. Like for example, like if you're the only developer in the team, like someone needs to build a recommendation algorithm. If you join like Shopify, you will not do that. Like you will just update copy on the website, and that's super boring. But someone has to do that. So like build with your friends as much as you can, and try to do it on a lower budget because that forces you to come up with more innovative and like effective solutions to a problem. Like assume that you have only $100, and that you will come up with very good like solutions because you have all the time in the world. You have all the time in the world.
yeah, I know the more energy that compared to us, the older generation, like the kids will have more energy. So that is the
Yeah,
biggest.
yeah.
They can easily come and the curiosity, and they are willing to like take the challenge and all. Yeah. Now it's time, Rupshika, say thank you because I don't want to take more time.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Carl, because you shared such incredible knowledge and experience with us from your work with AI-driven solutions and just bringing like ideas to life. You've given us just not inspiration, but also like such practical insights that we can use not only in this hackathon, but like throughout our life. So your journey, like it shows us like creativity, problem solving, all these technical skills that really do make us like pop out and different from like AI, right? So, on behalf of SE4K and all the students here, we are truly grateful for your time because we know the time zones and everything, your guidance, your encouragement. It's really been nice. And I really loved how you talked about like the importance of like just meeting people because something that's always been driven to me is that like always network because as a business student, they're always telling you network, meet people because that's something that really does help you throughout your life and career. So thank you for making us understand this and helping us see the possibilities with the life ahead and AI and coding. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank
And
you.
like honor to be here. Like wishing you like best of luck and like don't break production.
Thank
Sure,
you.
sure. Guys, did you guys get it? The last sentence? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for you, I
Alright.
think have a good night because it's maybe evening there, right?
No,
Okay.
I mean it's around like 3, like 4
Oh,
o'clock. So
okay, then
still
good.
have time for like a late night coding session. So
Perfect.
okay.
See you soon. Bye for now.
Bye bye.